Hi, it's Katina. Welcome to Cooking with Katina, my inaugural cooking show. Today we're going to make edible cookie dough bites using canned chickpeas, which you might have in your pantry right now. Cookie dough is not something that you're supposed to eat raw, even though it's really tempting, but these are able to be eaten raw because they don't contain any eggs and they're actually vegan, so that's a plus too. So what we're going to start out with is 1 can of garbanzo beans or chickpeas, rinsed, drained, and patted dry. So in they go. And actually I'm going to mash them up in here with a fork just a little bit, just to give them a little head start. You don't have to do this. It doesn't say to do this in the recipe. And by the way, I will link the recipe in the comments so you can make these at home whenever you want to. And we're going to use a 1/2 cup of smooth peanut butter or almond butter. You could probably also use any kind of nut butter, cashew butter, sunflower butter, whatever your preference is, but you do want it to be smooth. So that's going to go in there too. And I'm actually using almond butter today, my favorite brand. It's really good. And then we also are going to have a 1/4 cup of packed light brown sugar. It's just going to give it a little touch of sweetness. And I've spilled some on the counter. Not to worry. Counter is clean, so are the hands. And we're going to do 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And if you have it, it's always good to use the real vanilla. The imitation vanilla flavoring just doesn't taste as good as the pure vanilla extract. I know it's a little expensive, but a little goes a long way. And then we are also going to put in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Alright. And we're going to put the lid on my food processor here. You could also do this in a blender, I think. It would work just as well. But I do have my little Mini Pro food processor, so it's going to be loud, sorry. And you can take the lid off here and there while you're doing this, just kind of scrape down the sides. What you're going to end up with is going to be something the consistency of a kind of sticky, I would say like a sticky peanut butter cookie dough. So it's not going to look quite like a regular cookie dough, but the consistency is going to be pretty similar. So here we go again. And this does take a couple of times through, just to make sure that you're chopping up all the chickpeas, because you are trying to fool yourself into thinking this is cookie dough. So nothing like a surprise bite of garbanzo bean to make you realize that you're not eating cookie dough. So kind of scrape that down again, like I said, get down near the bottom. Shout out to my production crew back there, Bradley. Running the camera for me.
There was a bunny in the alley.
Oh, great.
We cook him next episode.
I hope not. I don't think he tastes just like chicken.
No.
Okay, we're almost there. I'm going to give it probably one more go to get the last bits of garbanzo bean processed in there. Alright, I think we look about as good as we're going to get right now. So carefully take out your food processor blade or your blender blade. whichever. Just need to be careful. And you're going to scoop this into your bowl. And get it all out of there. Then you're going to add a 1/3 cup chocolate chips, mini chocolate chips, the tinies. They just work better in this. If you don't have minis, you can use the regular morsels, but I think the minis are a good size for this. You're going to mix them up, and it does, as you can see, resemble a sticky cookie dough. Like I said, I liken it to a peanut butter cookie dough. Well, there's one that I missed. I'll just try to mash them down as best I can. So you get those mixed in pretty well, and then you are going to scoop them onto a baking sheet with wax paper, covered with wax paper or parchment paper, about a teaspoon. I have this cookie scoop. It's a little more than a teaspoon, but so I'm not filling it quite full. And this recipe makes about 40 teaspoon-sized balls. So they're good to keep around, just if you want a little sweet treat. Once we get them scooped out and on the sheet, we're going to roll them into a more tightly compressed ball. That one's a little small. We'll give it a little bit more. And then they're going to go in the freezer for at least an hour to get firmed up. A couple more on here. And to roll them up, I always do this when I have to roll anything into balls. Just a little squirt of Pam, that way nothing sticks to my hands. Just roll them into a ball. Like I said, the dough's gonna feel kind of sticky. I mean, it's beans and peanut butter, so it's gonna feel a little sticky. Don't worry, you didn't do anything wrong. That's just the consistency of it. We'll get these rolled up. Like I said, the recipe makes about 40 teaspoon-sized balls. And they actually keep in the freezer for up to 2 months. And if when you were watching, you were thinking, that doesn't look like a 1/2 cup of peanut butter, that doesn't look like a 1/3 cup of chocolate chips, you're right, it wasn't. It was, I halved the recipe and made half of it earlier so that I could show you what they look like when they're done. Chocolate chip cookie bites, made out of garbanzo beans. Let's taste. Not bad. Kind of sticky. Not too sweet. The chocolate chips are nice. So because these are made with garbanzo beans and peanut butter, excuse me, and peanut butter, they're also a really good source of protein. So not only are they a sweet treat, but they're a good source of protein, and they don't have a lot of sugar, so they're not going to be bad for you. So that's it from my kitchen for today. Come back next week and we'll see what else we can make.